Welcome to Midlife Unlimited Live for Five. I'm your host, Kate Porter, the Midlife Metamorphosis Coach, and I'm delighted to be joined by my episode 28 guest, Felicity Ashley, motivator, mariner, marketer, and there's more to add as well, to give a taste of our episode, How to Turn I Can't into I Can and I Will, that's available wherever you listen to your podcast. So welcome, Felicity. It's fabulous to have you here and catch up.
Thank you, Kate. It's brilliant to be back.
Now, our episode came out on the 15th of May, which was rather a special day for you, wasn't it? Because you headed off somewhere.
I did, yeah. I mean, aside from it being my middle son's birthday, I headed off to I headed off to Nepal. It was a bit of an expedition, really. It was to take part in what's called the Tenzing Hillary Everest Marathon. So it involves a 10-day trek to Everest Base Camp, and then a marathon that starts from base camp and then sort of gradually works its way down the mountain. Although, as we were to find out, there's almost as much up as there is down involved in the marathon. So yeah, it was
Because I
it was
know
a monumental challenge, let's put it that way.
Oh, I know what you mean. In our full-length episode, you talk through the training because obviously you were deep in training at that time, and
Yeah.
it's worth tuning in just to hear the extreme efforts that you put into preparing yourself because you're all about the preparation, aren't you?
Yeah.
Now, I
Yeah.
obviously this was a slightly different take on your previous transatlantic expedition, I would have thought, in terms of mindset, because obviously that was very teamwork or orientated. Was it a big shift to be doing this I mean, obviously you're with other people, but
Yes, because I suppose in many ways, especially once you're actually running and you're doing the marathon, it's all about you and it's all about your own mental resilience and your ability to keep going, as well as, of course, your physical resilience born out of your preparation. So yeah, there was a lot more requirement to be self-sufficient in that way.
Mm.
Um, but that said, there was still a massive element of the experience, which was around connectivity and community and the people you were doing it with.
Yeah.
And one of the most brilliant things was the relationships and the bonds that we developed over the 10-day trek with the people in our groups, but also people in other groups who were moving their way up into Everest Base Camp as well. And then just during the race itself, even though you were running principally on your own, and there were quite long spells when you didn't really see anyone else,
Mm.
whenever you did come in contact with another runner or a porter on the route or other trekkers, there was so much camaraderie, so much encouragement, and yeah, a general sense of everyone being in it together and trying to help each other to the finishing line. And that was quite unexpected, I think, and a brilliant bonus from the event itself.
Oh, I love
And you really did will everybody on, because it wasn't like you were competing with other people. You just wanted everyone to do their best and everyone to get to the finishing line.
no, and I say in our full-length episode, obviously, although you had yet to conquer Everest in terms of the marathon, the golden nuggets that we talk about and we share in terms of finding that resilience and finding that motivation. I highly recommend anyone tuning in. But one thing that I would like to, because obviously I was stalking you a little bit on your journey through to Everest and to base camp. And one thing that confused me was I think it was about 3 or 4 days into your 10-day trek before you said first sight of Everest. Firstly, what was it like to see it? And secondly, it's the tallest blinking mountain in the world. How come it took that long to find, or not find it, to
I
see it?
know. I know, and it was a surprise. I think it was a surprise to most of us as well, because you imagine being the tallest mountain in the world, you'll just see it like a giant behemoth everywhere you look, but you don't. And in fact, it's quite obscured and hidden by all of the other mountains around it for most of the time. And even when you're at base camp itself, a lot of the time you can't see it because it might be hidden in the clouds. It's at the back. It might be hidden in the clouds, or most of it is obscured by the mountains that are slightly in front of it. But it was amazing seeing it for the first time, seeing the clouds parting and getting that first glimpse of it, because I guess that's what we were all there for.
Mm.
It's so iconic, and to actually see it in person was so special, to look up and think I'm looking up at the top of the world. Then, of course, it did bring those kind of, thoughts. Well, what would it be like to actually go right to the top, not just to base camp, but to go right to the top? Yeah, it does plant those kind of
Is
seeds as well.
there another little idea brewing there now?
Well, never say never. I mean, that's a different kettle of fish altogether. But it was incredible just being in that environment, being so close to those incredible mountains, and yeah, seeing some of the things that so few of us ever get to see.
Oh, amazing. Now, you used a phrase just now, never say never. And there's something else that I know you'd said you probably weren't going to do that you've done, which is write a book.
Ah,
And
yes.
the launch is looming. We can't reveal the title yet, so watch this space, but also on the show notes for our episode and on your guest profile on the website, there is the link for anyone wanting to get information about the looming launch. But tell us a little bit. We've gone over the 5 minutes. I don't care, Felicity, because this is such a fabulous catch up. I've been so excited about this. Yeah, tell us how the book's come about and what it means to you.
Yeah, the book really is about it's my memoirs really. It's particularly focusing on the last few roller coaster years, through the row and then the cancer, but the foundational kind of years that led up to that as well, and I suppose what makes me approach life in the way that I do. So it's very personal. It's quite nerve-wracking bringing a book out because you're sort of putting your life out there for everyone
Yeah.
to read, everyone to make judgments on. But it's really about it's my story, and it's about some of the lessons that I've learned along the way, and how I approach the challenges that I've faced, whether it's the challenges that I've chosen to take on, like rowing the Atlantic, or the challenge of a cancer diagnosis, and some of my reflections on those things, as well as the people around me who've supported me through it. And I hope there are lots of lessons in there for other people who might be facing similar challenges, or just to give people inspiration to show that they can go and do extraordinary things if they put their minds to it. So yes, it's very exciting. It's out in a few weeks. You can, in the show notes, you can I think add your name to my priority list to be updated
Yes,
on
yeah,
launch date and special offers and things like that. But yeah, watch this space, a few weeks and it will be out.
No, it's so exciting. And again, a phrase you use, which we do talk about quite a lot in our episode, because we do get, it's not a promo for your book. It's not just a promo for you, although your motivational speaking is amazing. It's superb because you
Thank you.
talk from the heart, and that's what I'm all about. I mean, I'm a journalist turned life coach. It's all about sharing our stories and doing it in an empowering way. And I love the fact you talk about being the Transatlantic road, a group of midlife mums proving that ordinary women can do extraordinary things, and not just for yourselves, but the legacy for your kids as well. Because I know that's something that
Yeah.
was a struggle, wasn't it? The idea of leaving your kids behind, but then doing something that will empower them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there were lots of raised eyebrows when we decided to do the row, particularly because it was over Christmas and New Year. So we were leaving our 11 children
How could you?
over
Yeah.
Christmas. How could we? Exactly. And so that took a bit of courage, I suppose, to get over. But it was more about inspiring them and the long-term benefits to the children of seeing their mums going and doing something like that. And giving them this idea that they can do anything they set their minds to. And actually, it was brilliant to hear my daughter a few weeks ago asking me when we were going to Antigua again, which is where the row finished. And she said, "Am I going to row there again?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know." But she said, "Well, if you do row there again, can I do it with you?" And she's 7. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
She sees no reason why she can't go and do something like that. And that's exactly why we wanted to do it. In part, that's why I went and did the Everest Marathon as well. It's just to continue to show them that the world is their oyster. There are so many opportunities and places to be explored, and they can do it as well as anyone else can.
And it's enabling them to actually visualize something. Obviously, the Atlantic is a huge stretch of water, and them imagining or picturing mummy actually crossing that must have been quite difficult. But in terms of Everest, because it is such an iconic image, and the wonderful posts and photographs that you shared, literally of you there in the moment, what did they think? I mean, how did they get their little heads around it? And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but it's like, wow, my mum, Everest.
Yeah, but I think they think it's quite normal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they even do think, wow, that's amazing. I just think they think that's what I do. That's what any mums do or any parents do. And therefore that's what they can do. And I think that's one of the beauties of it, actually. It is becoming normalized to them to go and do these things. And so hopefully they won't be limited by these crushing beliefs that people have, or people saying you can't, because they've seen that people like me can, people like their mum can.
Yeah, no. Oh, I love that. Well, I will direct viewers again to our full-length episode, because if you've enjoyed this slightly extended Live for Five, but worth every extra second, thank you so much, Felicity, for joining me. Go and check out our full-length episode, because it is packed with golden nuggets, insights, and raw conversations, raw memories, because life is tough, isn't it? But
It can be,
it's
but
how
there's
we
always
use it.
light at the end of the tunnel somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. It's how we deal with that. So yeah, all your contact details are in the show notes for our episode and on the website. Good luck with the book launch. I really am quite excited to find out what it's called. And in the meantime, thank you again for joining me. Thank you for watching Midlife Unlimited live for 11. And here's living Midlife Unlimited. Thanks ever so much, Felicity. Take care.
Thanks, Kate.